And new details on the investigation in two fatal plane crashes occurring within 2 days of each other. The NTSB and the FAA investigating both incidents. Wednesday's mid-air collision between an American airline plane and a military Black Hawk helicopter in D.C. And now a Learjet being used as an air ambulance that crashed in northeast Philadelphia just moments after takeoff. Here's ABC's Nicole D'Antonio with the details on both of these tragedies.
We're learning more about the fiery plane crash in Philadelphia, where a Learjet operating as a medical ambulance crashed moments after takeoff on Friday.
The aircraft climbed to about 1,500 feet above the ground. The entire flight lasted less than a minute.
Investigators say they're still gathering the debris from the wreckage and searching for the plane's cockpit voice recorder.
There is substantial impact on the entire community. The debris field extends 4 or 5 blocks.
This small Learjet 55, an air ambulance, was headed to Tijuana with a stop in Missouri with 2 passengers and 4 crew members on board, all Mexican nationals. The passengers, a mother and her child, a patient at Shriners Children's Hospital in Philadelphia. This crash coming just 2 days after an American Airlines plane collided with a military Black Hawk helicopter in Washington, D.C. The NTSB sharing that the helicopter was on a training mission.
We can verify it was on a training flight that would utilize night vision goggles.
Investigators recreating the final minutes of the flight. At around 8:43, the jet's pilots told to land on a shorter runway. The Black Hawk helicopter now also making its way up the Potomac River. About 2 minutes later, air traffic control alerting the helicopter to that jet's approach. At roughly 8:47, asking the Black Hawk pilots to again confirm they see the jet.
At 8:47:58, the crew had a verbal reaction, and FDR data showed the airplane beginning to increase its pitch. Sounds of impact were audible about 1 second later, followed by the end of the recording.
In all, 67 lives were lost in the accident. The 64 passengers and crew aboard that American Airlines flight and 3 soldiers in the Black Hawk. Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News, Reagan National Airport.
And sadly, that plane crash in the nation's capital has a connection back to Ohio. A young student was killed. The community is now praying for her family. 13 Action News reporter Sophie Bates is standing by live in studio with the details on that story. Sophie.
Alexandria, Gracie Maxwell was attending her grandfather's funeral back home in Wichita, Kansas. She was about to be heading back to Ohio for school, a trip she would sadly never make. Students calling the news of this tragedy incredibly surreal.
There's nothing that makes this easier. I can't say anything that takes away your hurt or your pain.
Cedarville University President Dr. Thomas White spoke openly, honestly, and directly to 4,000 students and staff about the loss of Gracie Maxwell and the double tragedy her family is enduring.
Can you imagine losing a parent and 7 days later losing a child?
Hundreds of students accepted the president's invitation to leave their seats, step forward, and get on their knees to pray for the Maxwell family. The student body chaplain said the prayers are also for a suffering university community.
We feel real anger and real pain, and we're really upset and sad. But at the same time, we do still have hope, and we trust that our hope of eternal life will get us through these moments.
That attitude is one of the reasons this university community said they could find their voice in praising God and remembering their fallen friend.
If you gave her a single second to talk about it, she would tell you how much she cared and how much her faith had impacted her life.
One of the biggest things I remember and that I've loved about her is how enthusiastic she was to hang out with her friends.
2 students that shared a housing unit with Gracie Maxwell told us the junior mechanical engineering student was reserved with strangers and then very loud and passionate with friends, something they will cherish.
She would be really shocked to probably realize that she'd made that big of an impact, because she was one of those people that never realized that she actually made an impact on people.
The school says counseling is available to all students in need. Alexandria.